total is about slightly more than 2 million members in Singapore. Monthly active is about 1.1 million. So we actually have a third-party research panel we track every month since launch. We ask 3 questions. Awareness, have you heard of this brand? Second is membership, are you a member of this program? Third is activation, have you used it once in the last 6 months? As a concept, consumer love it. Your stamp card, buy 6 get 1 free. But what matters is 2 things, the industry and the margin. If you buy 10 get 1 free, it's a 10% program. 10% program for a small cafe, they can afford it. For a big supermarket, you can't afford it. And they don't have the kind of margin to play. Because if the restaurant you go twice a year, no point joining their program. But if the restaurant is issuing you points, you're collecting from your supermarket purchase from Foodpanda anyway, oh, okay, then maybe I will go. That's in the reason we call this called borrow loyalty. In a sense, you borrow the impact of a stronger loyalty currency, but to drive the business to you.
Welcome back to TFC Business Show. I'm your host, Reggie, aka your Chief Financial Coconut. It's been a while since I'm back. Yes?
And I'm your seasonal coconut, Judson. Long time no see, boss.
Yeah, no, you're quite fixed already.
Have you forsaken the business already?
No, I have not. I've been busy with the business. That's why I got no time to come.
You have no time for the business show. So today...
Which means you're doing a great job, right? Yes,
But
yes.
I prefer to sit beside you. Because every single time... when it's me alone and I do this show, right, it becomes a pseudo wise and shine / business kind of thing. I don't know whether it's my vibe. So I need you to
That's
balance
your sphere
me.
of concern.
Yeah, my sphere of concern, always very
Whereas
spiritual.
I'm the SME tauke, right? So my sphere of concern is the business.
I'm not a tauke, so I cannot think like one.
It's okay eventually. Yeah.
But today we have the king of loyalty. Very important.
Okay.
The reason why I say king of loyalty is because I personally work with him and I believe in the platform and I think people in the marketing world and the loyalty ecosystem world all refers him to as the king of loyalty.
Serious?
So today we have CP Chen Peng, the CEO of U Rewards, but actually I think we should be CEO of Minden.ai. I think that's more accurate. Please introduce yourself first.
Thank you.
The
Thanks.
king of loyalty.
King of loyalty.
What a big shoe to fill. Yeah.
All right, so thanks for the opportunity and kind of like I joined the business about 2 years ago to run the U Rewards program, but has been actually with the program since day one. So I guess I came from this company called Amia, which I spent most of my career just running loyalty program for different companies. I think back in 2016, 2017 time, and we kind of really worked with dairy farm in Hong Kong. And that's really, we did the program design and put in the technology, and then later on that program became the U Rewards Club in Hong Kong. It was a great success in Hong Kong, and Dairy Farm want to expand it to Singapore. And that's exactly the time Temasek is looking to launch a coalition loyalty program. So it's a perfect timing, perfect marriage. So they become a joint venture to start the U Rewards in Singapore. I was with MasterCard then, and so I provide the loyalty platform, the technology. I was doing a startup, later got acquired by MasterCard, and so it was basically in the MasterCard loyalty team. So work with the Temasek team, provide the whole technology, enable the U Rewards Club, and then I joined about 2 years ago to run the business.
But our market is so small. So when I used to work in a company that is now a client of U Rewards, right? So when I think it was about 2023, U Rewards Club was about to get launched in Singapore, or already launched. But we were trying to launch the partnership. And in my mind, I was like, we only have a population of 6 million. Obviously, not everybody would be interested in loyalty. And on our island, I think most consumers think of loyalty as points, right? Or discount. And it's not as if there's no big player here in Singapore, right? So number one, what was this market opportunity that U Rewards Club saw when entering Singapore? And number two, why would you stake your career on a challenger brand?
Yeah, I think...
Now I know where's the wise and shine coming from. I better come back more.
mean,
yes, please go ahead.
I guess Singapore, I don't think most of the business, I think it's a convenient place to start. And also because Temasek as a shareholder and also Dairy Farm as a shareholder, after the Hong Kong success, they want to launch in Singapore. So it's a convenient choice. But obviously, the intention is using this success case to start to project into the region. So we are in conversation with a few other markets, trying to see which is the next market we can expand into. So definitely won't be limited to just Singapore. On how to start such a niche industry. Nobody
Graduates and say,
graduates
I'm
think so,
gonna
go
join
do
a loyalty program.
doesn't happen, right? And
have you had anybody that want to join you and said that?
no, you will never like.
You liar.
Yeah, I had a hard time even like when I started this. Like, I had a hard time explaining to my parents what do I do for a living. Now I think it's okay. Like 20 over years ago, it's not a common concept. I think like how to explain to your parents you run loyalty program. What exactly even that? So I started my career as a data scientist 20 over years ago. Now everybody have a lot of data with the digital economy. But 20 over years ago, for like a B2C business, the only scalable way to collect data is via a loyalty program. Without that, a customer walk in the store, walk out, buy something, you don't know. You have no record. All you know is your sales. You can't link your sales to customers. So loyalty program is the only way to do that, doing analytics in a loyalty company. So started as a data scientist, then moved to client services, business development, consulting, did a whole run of different domains within loyalty.
Actually, how many active users do you guys have at this point in time?
So total is about slightly more than 2 million members in Singapore. Monthly active is about 1.1 million. So we actually have a third-party research panel we track every month since launch. We ask 3 questions. And awareness. So have you heard of this brand? Second is membership. Are you a member of this program? Third is activation. Have you used it once in the last 6 months? So when we started from zero, and the most established program in the market is NTUC Link. Yeah, it took us about 14 months to catch up with NTUC Link, which is a 26, 27 years old program. And now we've been opening up the leadership gap. So the latest addition, I think in terms of program awareness, we're 10% higher than NTUC Link now as a brand awareness in the market. Yeah, monthly active, we are probably 2 to 3% higher. So we're roughly about 46% of the population has used it once in the last 6 months. So slightly below half of like a Singapore adult population.
Okay. Yeah, and you said that, back then loyalty programs were the only way to track your audience, the data, the way. But now the whole game has changed, right? So for someone like yourself, can you just kind of help us lay down the land of loyalty programs? How have they evolved over time and where are we today?
Maybe I paint it from 2 context perspectives. Number one is a very popular topic is the type of currency. When you think about loyalty program, KrisFlyer miles or points or cashback. Shortback is doing cashback. We do points. KrisFlyer doing miles. It's just a different type of incentive currency. At the end of the day, it's the same mechanics. If I look at the market 20, 25 years ago, we used to run loyalty program for a large bank, and you can see consumers' choice, roughly 1/3. So 1/3 of consumer prefer cashback, 1/3 want air miles, and the 1/3 want points to redeem for a catalog. Right? The market has evolved since then. I think in today's world, we'll say points probably drop to probably only 10%, 10-15%, 40% cashback, 50% air miles. And that's where the trend has been shifting towards. That's so in terms of reward currency, that's the landscape change. Something because cashback is more practical, air miles is more aspirational. Not everybody want air miles. It's like we go very. I did a interesting show of hands. Just like I was in Temasek doing a speech. Just a show of hands. How many people cashback? How many people air miles? 90% air miles, 10% cashback. But I did the same thing in my office, about half. Depends on your lifestyle, how much you travel. That's kind of you. But points is the one that's shrinking. The second dimension is but there is actually a lot more loyalty program compared to 20 years ago. The reason I view that as a major digital transformation driving this. Otherwise, so let's say 20 years ago when we talk to a retailer want to launch a loyalty program, typically it's a marketing program. They view it as a marketing investment. So your head of loyalty might report to your head of CRM, then report to your CMO. So kind of just one part of the marketing. Retailers probably still spend most of the money budget on their traditional advertising ATLs. Right? The BTL is a small portion. But to do BTL, you need loyalty program to collect the data in order to do BTL. Right? Then comes out the big data. The way I look at it, 20 years ago, you call it database marketing. Then suddenly all the database marketing company, all the technology to talk about big data. And the last 10, 15 years, every company is saying, we want to do big data. And then today, you don't hear big data anymore. It's all AI. But if you strip out all these buzzy words, what's underlying is still the traditional database marketing. As a business owner, you want to collect customer data so that you can communicate with customer and to drive them back to your business. I think that doesn't change the fundamentals. It's just probably the enablement technology has changed. So why today there's more loyalty program than 20 years ago? I put it on the technology industry because in the last 10 years probably is a big SaaS boom in the industry. So all the big consulting firms, Accenture, Deloitte, they're all selling digital transformation everywhere. If you as a business, you spend $10 million on your digital transformation project, and then you realize your e-commerce only account for 10% of your sales. 95% of your sales are offline in the store. If you don't have a loyalty program, your $10 million investment in digital transformation only works for your 5% of sales. Doesn't make sense. So then suddenly, and then the whole omni-channel, all these part of the digital transformation, people realize in Asia Pacific, I look at the stats, probably about 2 years old stats, now probably changed. 2 years ago, roughly Asia Pacific e-commerce sales as a total retail sales is about 19%. But 19% is not evenly distributed because China e-commerce are significantly higher. If you take out China, the rest of the Asia Pacific, I would say e-commerce is probably still only account for 10% of total retail sales. 90% is still offline. That's why if you want data, you want to do digital transformation, you cannot ignore 90% of sales. And that's why the loyalty program, everybody still need to launch a loyalty program. So that's part of the package, basically. So that translates to 20 years ago, loyalty program is a marketing investment. Today, I see loyalty program become a data infrastructure investment.
Why do you think that? Because just now you said that the point-based redemption catalog is going down. People are going for miles and cashback. What is so not attractive about catalog point-based redemption these days?
Catalog as a word already don't sound
No, wait, hold on. No, because for example, you look at Grab, right? They have a catalog. They have an ever-standing catalog. Hello. Just yesterday,
catalog sounds very
they rebranded to Grab Coins. You know, it means it's something important to them still. It means it's something working, right? But in general, is it from a business supply side point of view that it's difficult to maintain a catalog, or is it a demand side point of thing that is because you said that maybe 90% of the sales are still offline, right? And if I'm a SME business owner, I can just say then I'm just going to create a very simple stamp card, and then 6 different stamps.
It works, right?
It works, works, right?
I love it. That's my most loyal thing back then when I was a kid. So that boba tea shop.
Yes.
Chop. 6-1, I take free.
Especially if I have inventory, I own a bakery, I sell 50 kinds of bread, right? Each bread is a catalog item. I just point, give you points. What is so difficult about that, right? Yeah. People will love it. But from your perspective, doesn't seem like that's what people want.
As a concept, consumer love it. Your stamp card, buy 6 get 1 free, perfect. I mean, all the cafés do buy 10 coffee get 1 free, perfect. But what matters is there's 2 things: the industry and the margin. If you buy 10 get 1 free, it's a 10% program. 10% program. I mean, for a small cafe, they can afford it. For a big supermarket, you can't afford it. And they don't have the kind of margin to play. Just imagine, let's say our U Rewards is 0.5% program. 0.5% program means you have to buy 200 coffee to get 1. That doesn't make sense. So the value matters. right? And the second dimension is your industry, the frequency of engagement. So if you run a restaurant, I mean, your favorite restaurant in Singapore, you probably go like 5-6 times a year. That's considered very frequent. And the 5-6 times a year, you run a 10% program, means the customer need to visit 2 years in order to redeem for something. That is too long, what we call a payback period. Payback period need to be within maximum 12 months. If you need to squeeze it to the shorter, the more engaged customer gets. The moment your payback need to go beyond 1 year, it's very difficult to engage customer. For cafe business, frequency is high. You can afford to run a stamp card. Works perfect. Don't think there's no question. But if you are running a small restaurant, it becomes challenging. How do you run a meaningful loyalty program to keep coming back? Because your best customer visit you 3-4 times a year. The traditional loyalty concept might not work that well. And this is where we coming to play a collation loyalty program. Because if the restaurant you go twice a year, no point joining their program. But if the restaurant is issuing you points, you're collecting from your supermarket purchase from Foodpanda anyway, okay, then maybe I will go. That's in the end, we call this a borrow loyalty. In a sense, you borrow the impact of a stronger loyalty currency, but to drive the business to you.
That's fair. So shout out to all the boba tea. They figured it out long ago. Yeah. But I think, can I also, because you were dropping some ideas, right? Whether is it payback time, margins, all that, right? So from your experience as the loyalty king, so like, how would you structure a loyalty program? What are some parameters that anybody that is thinking of running a loyalty program needs to consider, other than join you rewards? That one, never mind, okay, that one, yeah.
The first step when you look at loyalty program, I think that the most important question is, what's your objective and who do you want to design this program for? All business will have a clear dilemma. Do you want to reward everybody, all your customers, or do you want to reward your regular customers? And that will lead to very different program design. The second, once you define who do you want to reward, the second dimension is do the math. I think that's the part a lot of business don't do very well. And a lot of business is like, I have a 30% gross margin. I mean, I can afford a 3% program, so I run just 3%. Or you look at your competitor. My competitor give 2%, so I do 2%. We need to look at from a consumer angle. And so the math we do is, for your average customer, over a year, what's the dollar return they get? If you do everything, customer need to download the app and give the data to you, but after 1 whole year, they earn $2 worth of rewards, it doesn't make sense. And then consumer are not stupid. And in the end, this program won't work. When we used to design loyalty program, every client, the briefing is the same. And we want to build emotional loyalty. We don't want transactional loyalty. Emotional loyalty built based on transactional loyalty. You can't skip the baseline. So you need the value to make sense. Based on that, then you can build emotional loyalty. Just imagine if KrisFlyer don't issue mouse, only give your priority queue and the launch access, but without mouse, can the program work? Because the problem is that most of people will not join the program. If nobody join the program, who will get launch access? Who will get? So I would say the basic math is probably the most critical part. And your payback need to be meaningful. Then on top of that, you add the building engagement and make it even more better for consumers, I think. But you can't skip the first step.
You cannot skip the first step, but it's also difficult to go to the next step. Fundamental transactional level, people come to your platform because of this point exchange value kind of thing. And they stay there so long as there's utility to them and there's utility to the business. But that's already set the expectation that I am here to be a utility provider to you. And as long as I honor you and I get 5 out of 5 stars on Google, nobody may give me 1 star, everybody is happy. This emotional part, like what the Big Four says, right? This emotional part, right? Usually it requires some sort of inspirational storytelling around the brand that requires a mascot. You have a mascot, but debatable whether the mascot is as famous as some other mascot, and you are a challenger brand and everything. How do you go from this transactional layer to this emotional layer, specifically, not just for we put the clients aside, but for the consumers? How do you make sure that the consumers are always loyal to you, especially when you have a main brand that though you spend 14 months every day and you surpass them, but there's no saying that they will come back again and then push you downwards, right? This emotional loyalty for a loyalty platform. it's a bit of a mind-boggling thing.
I will tend to focus on the fundamentals. Every company have limited budget. So I will look at the average dollar return per customer, average customer on a year basis. If let's say 1 year in the current program, you earn $50. How to keep customer loyal? I will try to see how do we increase this $50 to $60 to $70 and to drive fundamental values. And I believe the emotional loyalty comes after your value reaches a certain threshold. Because why people are so crazy about Chris Flyer Miles is if 1 year you travel for work, if you're able to redeem a flight for your family of 4, the value is perceived value is a few $1,000s, and that's where you think you start to build emotional loyalty because the return is meaningful for you. For retail collation program, my view is always focus on driving more return to the customer. It can be in the form of points, can be in the form of like a heavily discount offers. All these are the value given back to the customer. If the customer really every week go to supermarket, go Food Panda, every week there's a step voucher they can use from the program, they will be loyal to the program. And that's where over time the emotional loyalty will come. But without addressing these value elements, I mean, it's just too much fluff. I think it's just not scalable. Not. I mean, you might get a few customers like it, but it's not scalable.
Awesome. I was waiting for that. If you never say that, I would have said it. So it's too much fluff. What emotional loyalty?
Who cares about brand, right? Everything should be performance-based and growth-based.
No. I get the theory, right?
I know.
Like if you, it's like even for our audience, right? Like if they tune in once, it's like, okay, not too bad. They keep tuning in a few times. Eventually, you've created enough value, then they feel this connection with the brand, right? So that's kind of how it works. Don't waste too much effort trying to create this fluff story out there, essentially. Yeah. Save your budget, you got limited budget, let's optimize the math. Okay. So I do want to understand, right, from your point of view. I mean, looking at loyalty programs is your bread and butter for 25 years, right? You're day in, day out, you're looking at all these different things, right? So in the market today, all the different programs add up, what are some that you think works very well? From an SME standpoint, right? Because we have florists, we have like the boba tea, we've talked about the stamp thing, and then some restaurants, they ask me to, you top up this card 100, I give you 120, so there are a lot of different patterns and all sorts of stuff where people do. There's of course the 11/11, all sorts of promotion and loyalty stuff. Can you, based on your professional perspective, tell me some of these things that work specific to certain industries?
In the SME space, there's a few common construct. Number one, points is not common. I mean, because the infrastructure cost to issue points, all these are too heavy for SME to manage.
Oh no, but we may be surprised because some people have unknowingly and unwillingly dump in all the infrastructure money, right?
Yeah, possible.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's a different discussion. Yes, but yeah.
I tend to look at the industry. Let's take a few examples. Very popular cafés, for example, and stamp card is buy 10 get 1 free, kind of like this. Generally proven working well. Right. In this industry, for the longest time, Starbucks is regarded as the best practice in terms of their loyalty. But Starbucks did it differently. They did it via store value. I used to manage that program. So the platform we use, I think we provide, Starbucks globally use that loyalty platform. There's a lot of other companies want to copy that to do store value. I would say store value is a very mature and widely accepted concept in China. Outside China, outside Starbucks, very few success case because culturally a lot of people are just not willing to.
I know in China, every hotpot restaurant has a... Yeah. And when I was here, there was one day I feel like having a hotpot. I went to eat at one of these Chinese restaurants. Then I said, 要不要充值? You want to get a card? I was like, I don't want to get a card. But in China, everybody would have done it.
Yes. So that's the restaurant industry that's store value become a norm because the restaurant industry don't have the frequency. You can't be eat 10 times, get 1 free because eat 10 times will take like 3 years to... So restaurant take the store value away and use a heavy discount. You store $100, give you 20, then the 20% erosion margin. It's actually quite expensive program to run, but they lock in the customer. Because the money is there, I have to come back and spend it. So that's what I call it, this works better for low frequency business. But recently, another trend is coming very big, I think, from China. You can see Luckin or Chaji, they start to do away with their POS, right? It's 100% app or digital order. So the moment you do 100% app or digital order, the rewards is less about the points. It's actually your CRM. Luckin CRM is a machine. The moment you get a 9 cents coffee, and then they just like the voucher will keep coming, right? So it's a redistribution. Instead of invest in points and rewards, they invest in the offers, the targeted marketing. But to do targeted marketing, you need a large base. Your store value can never get your large base. Your store value, you best case get your 5% of the customer willing to stock, 95% you don't get it, which then will not enable you to do meaningful CRM. But if you want to do a large-scale CRM, I think a lot of other Chinese brands are kind of like pushing that to a pretty successful limit, that kind of like 100% data acquisition, then drive it via CRM. Look at first how much margin you are willing to reinvest and what's the purchase frequency of a customer. Then you choose the right mechanism for you.
So this is something that always confounds me, right? Chachi has their own loyalty, has their own app, but they're also your partner. What is it in it for them to double dip like that?
If you run your own loyalty program, by definition, it's a retention program. You acquire the customer, then you get the customer come back. But you join a coalition, it has the retention element, but also have an acquisition element. So let's say we have 2 million members, 500,000 Chachi members, which means the other 1.5 million are the base that Chachi can keep target to acquire. The other important thing is about reactivation. You can imagine I have my own loyalty program, customer don't come back, I can get them offer to reactivate, they get them come back. The problem is if your customer are not engaged with you, likely they will not read your communication. You give the voucher in the app, but they're not coming back. They don't open the app anymore. And you send them email, nobody reads emails. So the effectiveness of your reactivation for your own loyalty program, because the channel that you have customer no longer engaged, is not effective. But for a collation program, maybe a customer is no longer going to charge you, but they still go cold storage. So for your app, they still go to the app every day to check. So that then the reactivation is also more effective as a channel.
This visibility, right? Because when you expand more and more, and you sign more and more different partners from different industries, right? The business, because of your platform, is limited to this 9 by 16 screen, right? And when your U rewards user goes in, how do you, when this is more B2B and client partnerships already, right? When somebody wants to come on board, let's say really a small SME player, don't have the budget like Saji or cold storage, right? What sort of value would you able to provide them when I think they know when they sign onto your platform, they might be buried by the visibility play of the bigger players, right? So how do they?
If you look at all the major e-commerce or loyalty apps, you look at Lazada, Shopee, Shopback, everybody face the same problem because the number of merchants just keep increasing. And then the app screen just gets busier and busier. The logo gets smaller and smaller. Everybody face the same problem because how to get merchant visibility. I like to think it from a social media perspective. The old school social media is Facebook. Now people, younger generation use TikTok. What's the difference? In Facebook, the UI, I will call it a browse and a select UI. So you scroll, you see something you like, you click. So in this UI, and people are fighting for premium assets, list higher, because the moment you scroll too low, after you are on the third page, Google search, nobody will ever see
you're
it.
not
right?
on any page.
Because
Yes.
this is limited by the screen assets. So in the browse and select UI, your limitation and is your screen size. But human is the primary decision maker. Facebook have machine learning behind, but the machine learning play a secondary role. Certain feeds you think you're more likely to read, they put it higher, but still human is the one driving. TikTok did it the other way around. When you swipe the algorithm, machine is the primary decision maker to decide what you see next. You play a assistant role to the algorithm. You don't know what's the next video. The machine decides. You don't like it, you choose. So in TikTok's context, the screen asset no longer matter. So that's the direction we are moving towards. It's really our key focus for next year. How do we change the product UI to be a machine-driven algorithm? So for SME, if we think you are more likely to go to that restaurant than go to cold storage, our algorithm will pick it up and then you will see that particular offer from the restaurant rather than the cold storage offer. So use that to achieve the balance, to balance the screen asset problem that every company will grow will face that.
It's just hyper personalization to the max.
It's like
really.
Tinder, swipe. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Can you actually tell us a little bit based on your data sets, right? Like, how are consumers spending these days? Because I think for a lot of the SME bosses, right, they're looking at like the numbers change and are wondering like, why is it changing? And I mean, running a loyalty program just means that you've seen, like where are people buying and spending their money and across the board, right? So within what is acceptable, are there certain major trends that you're seeing that, we can share?
Let me expand beyond just our loyalty data. So we talk to like Visa, MasterCard as well. They have like consumer spending reports. So I thought overall, I think there's a couple of trends. Travel has been increasing for Singapore consumers. All the fine dining are not doing well in Singapore. I think primary reason is the price point, and it's just getting ridiculous. And sometimes you want to bring your wife for a nice meal, you might as well buy a budget airline ticket to Bangkok and eat it there and come back. It's too cheaper.
So great party.
Yeah. So I had an interesting experience I was in China. Suddenly 4 a.m. my wife not feeling too well and need to find medicine. But 4 a.m., where do you find medicine? We opened the Meituan app. No, a lot of drugstore, 24-hour delivery. But the problem is that the medicine, we're familiar with Singapore, you don't know what to buy. They have an AI bot built in the app. You describe the syndrome, they recommend the medicine for you. It's fully productionized. Then you place the order. It's 4 a.m. in the morning. It delivered. Reach the hotel room in 10 minutes. So I think the moment you have that convenience, I realized the partnership between Dairy Farm and the Foodpanda and the quick commerce. So before that partnership, I didn't sign. I mean, you order e-commerce, deliver next day. I thought that's good enough, right? And maybe why do you need like a 1 hour delivery for your grocery? I never realized the need for it. But the moment I use it once, okay, order grocery, 1 hour deliver, good. The next day I go to cold storage website again. But then after put the whole basket, then going to pay, schedule delivery slot. So the next day don't have a slot. It come 2 days later. Doesn't work immediately. So once you experience the quick commerce delivery, there's no way back. You don't want to wait for 1 2 days. So I think all these innovations will drive the delivery digital economy further. And so I think that's a sector that's still growing very, very heavily.
And all these are all the ghost kitchen, all the ghost pharmacy, there's no face on. They're stuck in some warehouse somewhere. Yeah.
But we have really transitioned from the era of e-commerce, which maybe started 15 to 10 years ago, to the era of AI, right? And also, your rewards is not in itself, it's a manifestation of your actual company, which is Minden AI, right? And just now when you mentioned about your plans for 2026, it sounds very AI driven. It sounds very using AI to hyper personalize and sort of guide the consumers to show them what they actually need. So I just want to, within the realms of what is possible, right? What other areas in the loyalty space do you think can be plucked using AI solutions so that it helps you maintain your lead in Singapore, so that other people who cannot really catch up with you anymore?
I mean, AI is very hyped nowadays, but as I mentioned at the beginning, kind of like today we all call everything is AI, but 10 years ago, everything is big data, but it's basically CRM. The fundament doesn't change. And the only difference is you probably have better technology so that it's easier to do and faster to do. But what you are trying to do is the same thing as 20 years ago. Find the right customer to target, give them the right offer at the right time and via the right channel. That fundamental doesn't change. The only difference is AI is help you to do it easier.
Okay, I have another. No, it's okay. It's not a hard pivot, but it's a related question, right? Because just now you said I don't know whether you mentioned it in jest. You mentioned that nobody reads emails anymore. I am so this is a question I always ask whenever I encounter senior management C-suite, because as a marketer from where I am right now, email works. But I also understood that maybe in the consumer space, email doesn't work. But for Reggie, when he does his retention strategies and stuff like that, actually later you will see, right, when we wrap the episode, we will always ask the listener to go and sign up for the newsletter so that we can escape the social media algorithm, etc. So email as newslettering has always been in the background, it works, but maybe in different industry it doesn't. I just want to understand from your perspective, right? does you reward still believe in email marketing? That's one. And in what specific industries do you think email marketing maybe should just forget about it really?
My view is it's a percentage game. If you're a million base, maybe 700K, you have opting for email because by registration, they need to give you an email. But if you do mobile push, maybe you can only reach 300K. In terms of reach, I think in today's world, email is still the highest. Why I say nobody reads email? I mean, it's definitely that some people read email. It's just a percentage, right? So I attended a conference, Brace conference, also just talking to some of the partners. One of the key things is like, so our emails still have like 30-40% open rate. As a marketeer, you're happy like 40% open rate, but I was literally telling everybody, it's like, if you believe 40% of customer read your email, better think twice. It's just, and it's an industry stats there and the tracks, but it's correct, 40%. And based on your tool shows opened. Do you really think 40% customer read your email? That's a very different story. I would say emails still have the benefit of rich content. It's easier. You can't put that kind of level of content in a mobile push. Yeah, but and it has a wider reach. So in terms of percentage conversion, it's still good. But more importantly, I think my view is, as a marketeer, we want to keep exploring opening new channels. So like for us, if there is a call to action, we push for conversion, I think our mobile push always have a higher conversion than email. But if you want to send general branding message, mobile push, just limited space.
Which he doesn't care.
Yeah.
What do you do? Okay, so that's okay. And also I think because email is a free resource for a lot of small businesses, and usually the very first channel they go to is either your Instagram page and then your LinkedIn, and everything else is just really based on budget already.
So just for the emails, right? We do collect emails, and we try to make sure we move down the funnel with everyone, right? So that we know who is the core audience. They're very regular in tuning in, and just to share with some of the SME bosses, right? We used to send this like newsletter where it's like, oh, what happened this week, right? It's a wrap-up newsletter to the audience, and the open rate wasn't great, After a while, we thought about it. If we believe that the funnel gets down to the bottom and everybody that puts their email address are your diehard fans, right? They don't need you to tell them what's going out this week. They want to know what's going out next week. Yeah, so we switched it around and the email rate just like jumped up. Yeah, and I was like, oh wow, this is a lot of learning lessons as we go along. Yeah.
But like what you say, they might not be reading.
For us, maybe a bit different.
For yours is different because I think for people subscribe to a podcast means they're interested in your content. If they actively subscribe, and very different from a marketing email. They join the program, but they
don't know what they say.
It's very, and also frequency is different because we have so many partners. You can imagine we control and the frequency, but still one email every 1 or 2 days. That we have a much higher frequency. Then, if you send once a month, people will read. And if especially they proactive subscribe. But if you send once a day, then how much time do you need? For SME, my personal view now, I think need to keep exploring new channel. For SME, my personal view, WhatsApp is a more effective channel for reaching out to customers.
Although recently WhatsApp for Business, they limited the reach of WhatsApp broadcast on the business platform. If you can only send it per channel, right? Per channel, you can only send to up to 50% of the people within that channel. You want to go above 50%, you pay.
Yeah.
But we know this is coming. But it's still an effective one.
WhatsApp. Okay, great.
Games.
Yes.
Right. So when I saw that you start to introduce games, and then I was like, do people really play?
Yeah, because you're not the first one, right?
You're not the first
Many
one,
other big tech platforms all put games.
Because can you imagine, right? You only have 24 hours, 8 hours to go and sleep, 8 hours to go and work, 8 hours, right? Shopee, Lazada, now you rewards, everybody, Shopback also game. I cannot be spending time playing all these games, right? Then it's just a compulsive behavior that I need to game. But so you must have thought about that. There's so many games in the market. So what specifically is the value of gamification in that you saw?
Back to the fundamental math. We need to increase if a customer's annual earning in terms of words. That's the most important KPI for us. How do we increase from $50 to $60 to $70? Number one is get more partners. And get more partners, they can earn more rewards. They can increase. So the games and the short dramas, all these belongs in that category. So suddenly you can earn U points not only by going to supermarket to spend. You can stay at home, play games, you can still earn U points. I personally have done this in my old days as a data scientist. I did this analysis myself. We were running 10, 12 different loyalty programs across different industry. I did a regression on the churn rate versus points balance results and across different industry. And the regression come out to be almost a straight line. The higher the points balance are, the lower your churn rate is. So that's why helping customer building up points balance is then they will be loyal to the program. So all these games, the primary intention is that give them additional, help them grow their points. They can earn by another 5%, 10%. If they see there's a lot of U points, then they will be drive the sales to our partners. Right?
I've always knew that marketers and platforms at the back are doing all these things, right? I just never hear it in so direct way. Yeah, very cool.
How effective it is, I would say you will see probably definitely less than 10% of the members place these things. It's not a core service we provide. But those who place, you're surprised there's a small percentage of customers are highly engaged.
That's where your whales are, right? Every
Your super loyal people will be the one playing, right?
Yeah, may not be. I can be using it a lot, but I'm too busy to engage.
Yeah. And those I mean, it's free points. You play game and earn some points. Why not? For those who have time.
Yeah. But it's. I think that's a very insightful that regression bit. About how. Actually, if you think about it, it's true. If you accumulate a lot of points in one platform, you are very sticky to it. You see it in hotels, you see it in the malls, you see.
The hotel is the most direct one. Yeah. If let's say you have 500,000 points in Marriott, Bonvoy, and suddenly maybe you go to a particular city, there's no Marriott hotel, you're staying at Hyatt, but you have 200 points. You don't care about the 200 points. And but you do, the next choice is still, let me find the next Marriott hotel. You don't care about the 200 points there.
Have you seen people who, these very big whales, right? These people who accumulate a lot of points, do they tend to bid around, what is the lifetime value for these people? Like, is there a typical accumulation period? Is it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years before they start to chop? And do they start to expand their points bit by bit? Or do they tend to just one shot, just expand everything?
We have pay with points feature. So which means every transaction you can burn your points. So I would say the majority of the consumer do this. And the next transaction, every time you go to Cold Storage, order Foodpanda, you just burn off whatever points you have. So then you are using this program as a so-called, almost like a discount. Right? At the end of the day, loyalty programs are gamification. There's people who like to see their points balance go up and they feel good. The intention is, I can use it today, I can use it tomorrow, doesn't matter, right? But seeing the points balance going up feels good. So there's people who literally just keep earning, they don't burn. And of course, they will burn one day, or points expiry coming, or there's a good promotion, they will burn. But the default behavior is they like to accumulate. And but this is a smaller percentage of the customers. Then you will have those very sophisticated ones, because our points is 0.5 cents, right? Each point equal to half a cent. But we have this double up rewards, which is all on 50% off, which means 1 point technically on double up rewards, you earn equal to 1 cent of value, right? There are sophisticated customers, they only burn on double up, which means the whole program is a 1% program. How substantial this can be? I always use this Gojek example. Let's say I take a taxi here, $30. I pay with DBS Yield card, 36x points. So $30, 36x points is one taxi ride I get basically almost 1,000 points. 1,000 points on a double up, you can redeem a $10 voucher. So a $30 taxi ride, you get $10. That is very meaningful return from a consumer. Then that's what consumer will get. Once the value makes sense, imagine one day taxi ride can earn $10 back. Then that will be very loyal to the program.
Emotional, very loyal. It's like, you 很好, this one very good, right? Then they go and they talk to all their friends in the office, right? Yeah, see? So transactional, more important.
Well, maybe one final one, right? For those who still insistent on building their own point base. very insistent. I don't want to join any coalition. I want to be independent one. And actually, there are vendors who actually help people build this kind of point-based stuff, right? Is there a general guideline in terms of maintaining your burn rate below certain, because your bread and butter is really your points, right? You definitely cannot have a situation whereby suddenly everybody starts burning everything and then you just flip over, right? So this balance between earn and burn rate, typically what is a meaningful kind of balance to help make a sustainable?
I always call this as the biggest internal conflict of interest. Your CFO will like a high breakage, but at the same time, if your program has a 40-50% breakage, my view is your program doesn't work. If your program has a 50% breakage, it's like even customer have point, they don't even bother to use it, means your program is not attractive. You need to relocate your program altogether. So we have a extremely engaged customer base. So our breakage is like less than 5% because it's convenient. So from financially, our CFO might not be too happy, but that's just we set the right expectation. Just kind of we want to drive value to consumer. Consumer low breakage means consumer sees the value of the program, then they will be loyal to the partners. That's the reason for our existence. If our program has a 50% breakage, that means that directly translate to we're not driving sales to our partners, basically.
But can any SME approach you and be your member, or you have a selection filter?
No, we have this partner called you can see on our app, there's a whole section of called Earn in Store. Yeah, so everything there are SME. Any type of restaurants, bars, florists, and all that, you can earn your points there. So we work through a partner called Avocado. They almost become our SME aggregator to basically help to onboard those SMEs into the U Rewards Club.
Yeah, because need a lot of manpower on board SMEs.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. I thought it was very insightful, very candid, cool stuff. So if you enjoy the podcast and you would like to stay updated with us, like what Justin say, go to thefinancialcoconut.com to place your email address there so that we can reach you whenever we need to and route out the algorithm to update you on what's exciting and happening. Okay.
Yeah, because after all, we don't just do podcasts. He does a lot of things.
We got events, we got all shoots, all sorts of stuff. Next year, we're planning many big debates. I am talking to a lot of people, so stay tuned.
Next year is the year he becomes a millionaire.
Yeah, so, hey, what makes you so sure I haven't? Hey,
okay.
Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you in next episode of The Business Show. Bye-bye.
Bye.